Good evening. Tonight I will be demonstrating Group 1 PGP algorithm implementation via Spring Boot JPA. So to give some details real quick on Spring Boot, it allows for a Tomcat embedded service inside of a Java application, which is what you're seeing here hosted on port 8080. So this is our login screen, and you can see when I put in the correct password, I'm going to sign in, and I'm dumped to a received messages tab. That's the initial view that you'll see when logging in, and we also have available a sent emails and a new message or new email tab. So as you can see, I just created this user, so we don't have any sent or received. So I'm going to send a test message to sample user, and we're dumped back to sent emails, and we can see a message ID of 10 sent today, with message 1234 was sent from test user, which is what I'm currently logged in as, to the sample user. And the plain text is shown here, but it is being decrypted through this view through one of the classes in our Java JPA project. So if I log out here and I log in as the sample user, we should see that we have a received message from test user received today, and that message likewise is being decrypted in real time through our Java JPA class implementation. And you can see I have not sent any messages, but I will do one back to test user. And submit. So what this is doing is it's actually inserting a record to our backend server, which is a Azure hosted virtual machine, SQL 2014 box or instance on a Windows 2012 R2 server, and those connection string properties are dialed into our JPA project here, and that's how we're able to display this data. So if I log back into test user account here, we should have received message sent just now from the sample user. So also I want to demonstrate a failed login. Here we get a error page, a redirect to this sign in fail. And likewise we can also register a new user. Right off the bat, and what that's going to do is talk to the backend and make a record inside of our user table. And we can see here that that account's name is displayed, and no messages have been sent just yet with this account. Okay, so I wanted to give a quick look at the backend data of our application. So here we'll see in this Excel workbook that we have two tabs, a user tab and a message tab. So in the user tab, each one of these tabs represents a model in our application, which means that it's also a table in our backend SQL Server instance. And we can see a few different fields of this of the model: the ID field, password hash, private key, public key, and username. And so when a user is created, they're asked to put in a password, and that password comes and hits a method in which the password is hashed and salted. So you can see, even if you were to use the same password for multiple accounts, you would not be able to tell from looking at our backend instance that any of the passwords were the same, and that's because of the salts that go into the password. And next up we have the private key, which is assigned on a user level. So as soon as you create that new user account, you get assigned a private key as well as the public key, and of course the username that you choose for your login. And the next model we have is the message model. So here we have an ID field as the primary key identifier, and we have a created date, ciphertext, and ciphertext. So both of these ciphertexts are created by using the public key. So receive ciphertext is created with the receiver's public key, and the send ciphertext is created using the sender's the sender's public key. And so we did this so that users could view the plain text of both received and sent messages. So the other two columns involved in this model are the received and the sender ID. So in this scenario, the receiver was 3, which means that it was ID 3 in the user table, which means that it was this username that received the message. And the sender was 2, so if you look at ID 2, we can see that it was that username who sent that message. So these two fields have a foreign key relationship with the user table, which means that the user ID must exist for a message to be targeted to a specific ID. And that's just a quick overview of our backend data for our PGP algorithm implementation.